What's up, future millionaires? I'm Mike the Investor, and I say future millionaires every video because I truly believe that cryptocurrency can open that door, not just to become a millionaire, but also a multi-millionaire. It just will happen at different times in our investing journeys. But today, I want to talk to you about one of the top 10 cryptocurrencies in the space today, known as Polkadot. Now, Polkadot is completely built for Web3 and much more, which we're going to be talking about in this video. Now, for those of you that may need a brief understanding of what Web3 is, let's briefly talk about what Web 1 is. Now, Web 1 was kind of the start of the internet back when AOL was a thing, which takes us to Web 2, which we are interacting with right now. Just like how you are watching me on YouTube, this is a form of Web 2. Web 2 is our social media platforms and all of that good stuff of what we're doing today. And then Web 3 is known as the next generation of the internet, which is where we have blockchain that interacts with the internet, where NFTs come into play, where virtual worlds come into play, in certain forms of artificial intelligence. And so in a nutshell, that is what Web 1, Web 2, as well as Web 3 is. Now, what we're going to be talking about for Polkadot, we're going to be looking at the price chart of DOT, what is Polkadot, as well as how some of the technology works behind it. Number 3, we're going to dive into what is the DOT cryptocurrency use case. And then lastly, we're going to look at some key catalysts for Polkadot as well. Now, I have timestamps in the description below if you are looking for a specific section in this video. But before we actually dive into everything, I want to take a brief second to talk to you about Crypto.com, which is one of the largest exchanges in the world today. Now, using Crypto.com, we can buy and sell over 250 plus cryptocurrencies. We can also earn passive income, not just on crypto, but also our stable coins as well. And as we move down to the pay option, you can also earn up to 8% back when using their metal Visa debit cards. And then last but not least, here you have the track option. Let's just say you want to use Crypto.com to track different price alerts for different cryptos. You can do that as well. Now, as for their metal Visa debit cards, there are 5 different tiers that you can choose from depending on how much CRO that you would like to earn back on your purchases, and it starts anywhere from 1% up to 8%. Alright, so if you would like to use Crypto.com and earn $25 free in CRO, use the link down below and the promo code is Mike. Now, keep in mind, to get that $25 free in CRO, you do have to sign up for the Ruby Steel card or higher. So remember, only sign up for one of these if you find the true value in them. But now that we got the intro out of the way, let's go ahead and dive into Polkadot, starting with the price chart right after this. Welcome back to the channel, future millionaires. Let's dive into Polkadot here. And if we briefly look at the market cap of the entire cryptocurrency market, right under 1.8 trillion at 1.799. We're currently down just a little bit at 0.2%. Now, if we look at Polkadot, the current rank is number 10 according to CoinGecko. The current price $18.63, and it's currently up just a little bit at the time of this video at 0.02%. Now, as we look at the market cap here, right over 20 billion, and you can see for the circulating supply, there's a little over 1 billion, and the total supply currently is 1.1 billion. Now, there's no max supply when it comes to Polkadot because it is a inflationary asset, because they do add more tokens each year. And because of how Polkadot is operated, I don't think that's going to be a problem. Now, if we briefly just look at the 1-year chart here, now I'm not super big into, technical analysis, but if we just look at the all-time high of Polkadot, it was around $55 back in November. And we can see the current price is around $18, right? And so in my personal opinion, this is not financial advice, but if you understand where crypto and where blockchain is going, if you understand what Polkadot is setting out to do, in my opinion, it is completely undervalued. Definitely looking at where the current all-time high is and where the current price is today. Now, before we dive into what is Polkadot and kind of how it works and the technology behind it, let's briefly talk about a little bit of history of Polkadot. Well, the white paper actually started in 2016 and it had nearly 3 years of development until it actually launched in 2020. I believe the month was May. Now, the main founder of Polkadot is Gavin Wood. And if that name sounds familiar, it's because he was one of the co-founders of Ethereum, and he was the one who actually wrote the smart contract language called Solidity. And so he was the person who left Ethereum because he understood if you're trying to run all of these different things on the same network, you're going to have problems, which is what Ethereum have seen in the past. And so he started Polkadot, and he also founded the Web3 Foundation, who Polkadot is completely backed by. And the Web3 Foundation is made up of 5 different teams and 100 developers. And so you can see the power behind Polkadot. Now, when you look at Polkadot, also, they launched in 2020, and as I mentioned, the white paper came out in 2016. So almost nearly 3 years of development, or close to 4 years, I should say. And not only that, now in 2021, they also mentioned that they're going to be starting their crowd loan for Parachains. And then in this year, in 2022, they actually go live, which I think is going to be massive for Polkadot. And so now let's kind of dive into what is Polkadot, how does it work, and all of the technology behind it. Let's check it out. So here we have it. Polkadot is a platform for Web3. And if you look at their mission statement, we envision a web where our identity and our data is our own, safely secured from any central authority. Now, if we look at just the middle section here, it says Polkadot is built to connect private and consortium chains, public and permissionless networks, oracles, and future technologies that are to be created. And it says Polkadot facilitates an internet where independent blockchains can exchange information and transactions in a trustless way via the Polkadot relay chain. Is what powers the entire Polkadot ecosystem, is what powers the Parachains, what powers the Parathreads, what powers the bridge. The relay chain powers all of this. And so let's look at a little bit deeper on how all of this works. So it says that Polkadot unites a network of heterogeneous blockchains called Parachains and Parathreads. These chains connect to and are secured by the Polkadot relay chain, and they can also connect with external networks via bridges, which is where the interoperability comes to effect on Polkadot. And so here are the 4 main functions of that layer here. You can see here's the relay chain, which is the heart of Polkadot. You have your parachains, which are going to be the separate blockchains that are operating inside of the Polkadot ecosystem. You have parathreads, which pretty much gives blockchain network access without having to be completely connected to the blockchain all the time. And then you have your bridge, of course, which allows parachains and parathreads to communicate to external, networks as well. And so if I move down just a little bit, this is the consensus rules, nominators, validators, collators, and fishermen. And then you have your governance rules as well, which helps with, different privileges, different upgrades on the ecosystem, and different things that they vote on to make things happen. And so as we go ahead and go a little bit deeper into Polkadot, we can see that a parachain can be used for every single purpose. As we can see, for DeFi to identity, supply chain, gaming, NFTs, Internet of Things, DAOs, and much more. And these are some of the different things that they are including right now. Independent token economies, common good parachains, bridge parachains, parachain hubs, of course, smart contract parachains. And then you have your parathreads. And so let's go into a little deeper dive on explaining parachains and kind of how this technology actually works with Polkadot. And so according to Polkadot, parachains are the next generation layer 1 blockchains that put multi in multi-chain, forming the backbone of Polkadot network and creating a free alliance of sovereign chains. Now, Polkadot is a layer 0 protocol that underlies and supports this network of layer 1 parachains. Now, Polkadot's cross-chain interoperability allows any type of data or asset to be sent between parachains, creating a new paradigm of interchain services, communities, and economies. And so you can see that Polkadot is basically the foundation for connecting blockchains by solving 4 major problems, and that is scalability, security, interoperability, as well as being to upgrade itself without having to fork. Because when a blockchain forks, it takes a lot of time and a lot of other things that go into that, where Polkadot technology allows blockchains to pretty much operate with its own protocol, its own token, its own governance, while using the security and the scalability as well as the interoperability for Polkadot. And this is huge, and this is big for projects like Affinity and other projects that are using the Parachains, which is going to go live this year in 2022. And to put things into perspective and more in simple terms, if you think about maybe a bicycle tire and you think about the circle that connects all of like the lines that connects to the tire, right? You have the circle and you have lines going out each side, right? Well, that's Polkadot. Polkadot's the foundational layer, and the parachains are the different blockchains that uses Polkadot's technology. So they're able to use interoperability and connect to other, networks that are inside of the Polkadot ecosystem. They're able to use the upgrade feature and upgrade itself, and sometimes even upgrade itself in the actual background using Polkadot's technology. They can also scale because transactions are done parallel. And then also, of course, they have the security for Polkadot, because each parachain that's added to Polkadot, the security is actually enhanced. Now, Polkadot has a limit currently right now for a maximum of 100 parachains. And so this is definitely going to add a lot of competition for other projects that are looking to get on the Polkadot ecosystem. But now that we kind of broke down what is Polkadot, how's the technology work, why it's so important, let's look at the DOT token briefly and just kind of see what are the 3 main functions behind the DOT token, because we understand that it completely powers the Polkadot ecosystem. But let's get a little bit more technical with it. Let's check it out. All right, so according to Polkadot, we can see that DOT serves 3 distinctive purposes. Number 1, we have governance, of course, which is how things are actually done on the blockchain, how they come to an agreement on what's going to be done next, as far as upgrades, as far as bug fixes, as far as implementing new things on the ecosystem. This is where that governance comes into play. Then, of course, you have staking, right, which is where holders are able to lock up their DOT tokens, earn rewards, but by doing so, they're actually helping secure the network as well. And then we have the bonding feature, and this is where the parachains come into effect. Whenever a project wants to, use one of the parachains, they have to lock up a certain amount of DOT for, I believe, 96 weeks, which is the time frame for each parachain before it actually goes back up for another project to use it. And so when this happens, this is going to create more supply and demand for Polkadot. And so when we understand it doesn't have a max supply, well, when you understand how the ecosystem actually works, this is why I don't see it being a problem. And so those are the 3 main functions of the DOT cryptocurrency: governance, staking, and bonding, which connects parachains to Polkadot as a whole, which is how all of this actually works. And so now that we understand all of this, what is Polkadot? How does it work? What's the ecosystem about? What is Parachains? What is the DOT cryptocurrency use case? Now, let's go ahead and dive into what are some key catalysts for Polkadot, which I've kind of mentioned as we've been going through this video. Let's talk about it. Okay, so one of the first key catalysts for Polkadot, in my opinion, is that it has a key competitive advantage over other projects. Yes, there are other blockchains that are doing similar things to Polkadot, such as Ethereum, Solana, and Cardano. However, when you look at the tech, when you look at how far ahead Polkadot already is, I think Polkadot definitely has that competitive advantage. Also, when you look at the substrate that Gavin Wood created, this is what allows blockchains to build themselves on top of Polkadot in limitless time, while being able to use all of the benefits from Polkadot, which takes us to the second key catalyst, which it has a use case for everything. It's built for Web3. The parachains can be used for every single purpose that you think of, which we briefly took a look at earlier in this video, which now takes us to the 4 main issues that Polkadot solves for blockchain. Now, yes, they solve more than this, but these are 4 major issues. Number 1, scalability. Number 2, security. Number 3, having the ability to upgrade themselves without having to do a hard fork. And then number 4, which is super important, interoperability. It literally is built for Web3 and built to connect other blockchain networks while giving it enhanced security, enhanced upgradability, enhanced interoperability, and enhanced scalability. What project is doing that, right? Which now takes us to being backed by the Web3 Foundation. And if you know who makes up the Web3 Foundation, 5 prestigious teams, and also backed by 100 different developers, and their whole focus is taking the internet to the next generation, which is Web3. That is their whole sole focus on different technologies that will help us take us to the next generation. And this is who Polkadot is completely backed by, which now takes us to Grayscale consideration. Grayscale is the largest digital asset manager in the world, and they've already mentioned we are considering Polkadot on potentially adding them as a fund. Now, they haven't done it yet, but I believe this will happen in the future. It's already a top 10 cryptocurrency. I think it is just a matter of time, which now takes us to Polkadot has over 130 projects looking to build on Polkadot. So right there, that shows the supply and the demand and the benefit that other crypto projects see in Polkadot in the cryptocurrency space. And then last but not least, we have Parachains actually go live this year. If we look at what Polkadot was able to achieve without the Parachains actually being live, Polkadot hit a high of $55 and Parachains wasn't even live yet. So just imagine when you have projects that are already on the Parachain, such as Affinity and others, that start going live and implementing their actual blockchain on Polkadot. What's going to happen to the value of the Polkadot ecosystem? And this is why I say Polkadot, in my personal opinion, is undervalued. Now remember that these videos are strictly for entertainment and educational purposes only. I am not a financial advisor, so please do your own research. Now, most importantly, if you gain some value from this video, definitely smash the like button. And if you stayed this far, I want to say thanks for watching, but that is all I got for you. Remember to stay inspired, stay motivated, always invest in yourself, and I'm out.